We've heard of zero-day exploits. Have you guys heard of that? A zero-day exploit is a cyber attack that takes advantage of a previously unknown software vulnerability. So if there's a vulnerability in a piece of software, they take advantage of writing malicious code. And zero-day basically means that the vendor has 0 days to patch it. They don't know that their software has a vulnerability in it. So let's say there's a piece of software out there and an attacker finds, hey, there's a back door. I can get in here and write code. And they do it. The vendor doesn't know about it yet. And so obviously the system can get compromised. So that's what zero-day means, is that they can exploit it because the vendor hasn't written a patch for it. This is the way Apple handles these type of patches. So let's say the Microsoft example. Microsoft discovers that have an issue on their operating system. They have to talk to Dell. They have to talk to HP and say, hey, we have an issue with this part of our software. We have to come up with a solution. They have to contact outside vendors because they don't make the whole system. Apple makes the whole system. They make the hardware, the software, they do everything. They don't have to contact anybody. So their engineers will do a quick patch and push it to all Apple devices immediately. So the response time, it could be hours or days. When you have to negotiate with multiple vendors, it could take weeks, it could take months to patch a critical flaw, especially if it's very complicated. So that's one of the strong advantages of the Apple system. They control everything, so they can push those updates, those patches immediately, globally. DOS attacks, these are brute force attacks. This is really interesting. So you have a web service, let's say like Google Cloud or whatever. What these attackers do, they're going to bombard your system with tons of traffic, whether it's login attempts or pings. They send so much traffic to bring your system down. A little example, a DOS is denial of service. And so what you do is one computer will attack one service and try to bring it down. A distributed denial of service is hundreds, thousands, or millions of computers trying to bring that service down. Okay? It's a way to make a computer vulnerable so it can be attacked. So that's what it is. It's called a brute force attack, and it makes your system vulnerable. These are some of the major players that were victims in the last 5 years. I did a list of this through Google, and it was actually twice, 3 times as long. I just cut it for simplicity. Nobody's immune. I mean, Google, Microsoft, AWS is Amazon Web Service. I mean, these are big players. So they've been attacked. And what they try to do is, there's reasons for that. One is to disrupt the company in order to ruin its reputation. So these people are just playing with that, and they'll try to bring your service down. So, oh, this is an unsecure company. Look at, we brought them down. Another reason is extortion. So they may ask for money, ransom, and say, hey, we'll stop the attack if you pay us $5 million, put it on this crypto wallet. The other one is diversion. They'll sit there and attack a system, but they'll attack this part of the system while they're trying to hack this other one. So as all the attention is being focused here, they're going here trying to exploit the system. And the last one is to protest. People may have a beef with your company, whether it's a political, economic, and say these guys aren't green or whatever, and so we're going to attack them. So Apple has probably the largest infrastructure in the world as far as different servers and server farms. So what happens is when anyone tries to attack with brute force, it can absorb that. So if they have 30 terabytes of data being thrown to their cloud services, it can absorb it. And I use an analogy, if you're at a stadium and you have one door and you have 100,000 people trying to get in, now imagine if you had 50 or 100 doors, it lets the traffic flow. And really with the content delivery network that Apple has, it doesn't affect them. What we can do to protect ourselves on our little computers, turn on the firewall. It's intuitive enough to block any brute force attack. So if your computer is being flooded with data, somebody just decided to target you, for example, say, I'm going to send you, 10,000 packets in 5 seconds. The firewall is intuitive enough to block those. So it helps mitigate that.